What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Ty2True, always keeping it real, always keeping it true. And if you're new, make sure you get with the drill. Listen, man, I'm back. I know I missed a day. I was not at the cribbo, so I could not record. This is why, man, when I get to 10K, because I'm about to start uploading IRL content on my second channel. It's in the link in the description down below. But when we hit 10K, I will officially start adding a lot of IRL content onto my channel. But for the meantime, we back. Like I said, I was not home yesterday, so I did not get to record. But we back with a disturbing type of video, man. Y'all see it, bro? 5 most disturbing audio recordings. Y'all love my crime videos. Y'all love my, conspiracy, weird type videos. You know what I'm saying? So we back. Listen, I have been getting a lot of viewage lately. So you know what that comes with? A lot of haters. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who are complaining about me talking during my videos or pausing to talk. Gang, I'm at least pausing to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking the time to say, let me pause out of respect for them, because what's the point of, reacting to it if I'm just going to talk over the video, the whole entire video? Yeah, there's going to be points where I, talk over the video. But gang, this is a reaction channel, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want to hear somebody talk, get the fuck off the channel. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other people who, hey, bro, if you want to go watch a reactor who just sits there and watches the video, don't speak until the end, go do that. By all means, I'm not tripping. I want the people who fuck with me to be here. No cap. I want the people who fuck with me to be here, but I don't want the people who just here to watch the video and then just dip off. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the ones that's really commenting the hate, hate comments. So I'm not really paying no mind to it, but just know I'm giving you the warning, gang. I talk during my videos, bro. I pause to talk. You know what I'm saying? It's my channel, nigga. I get to make the rules over here, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get straight into it, man. We got a 22-minute video. If you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Turn on post notifications to be notified whenever I post a new video. Let's check out these disturbing audios. Let's see.
On the morning of January 2nd, 1978, a woman in California received a call asking for someone named Ray. She didn't know anyone by that name, so she simply told the caller they had the wrong number and hung up. Back then, callers had to manually enter each digit of the number they wanted to call in a rotary phone, and accidentally entering the wrong number was a common mistake. So she didn't think much of this and moved on with her day. However, things took a horrifying turn that evening when she received another call from the same person. And what she heard on the other end of this audio call was extremely disturbing.
Hello? Hello?
The fuck? Who the fuck is behind the phone? Darth Vader? This nigga not saying no words. See, me, I personally think somebody's trying to pull a prank on me. That's the first thing I'm gonna think about, bro. I'm gonna think somebody's just trying to pull a prank. I wouldn't even think somebody's actually on some weird shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, nigga, what is you doing? Like, oh! So my one and only question is, girl, why the fuck are you still on the phone? Hang up that bitch. Call 911. Instantly. That's what I would have done. As soon as I hear, I'm gonna hit you, bitch, who are you talking to? And who are you killing? Because it won't be me, bitch. I'm getting the cops here before you even think about doing anything stupid. Real talk.
The man who was politely asking to speak with someone named Ray earlier was now threatening to end her life. What's worse is that this audio call wasn't a baseless threat or a troll. The person calling was later found out to be the Golden State Killer, one of the most infamous serial killers in U.S. history. He terrorized California for over a decade, from 1974 to 1986, and operated across multiple counties, including Sacramento, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Orange County. What made him more terrifying than most other serial killers was just how precise and thorough he was. Instead of committing the crime whenever he got the chance, he would often plan months in advance.
That's wild.
He would stalk his victims, learning everything about their daily lives and routines to find the right opportunity. This also included surveying the area around their home to plan escape routes.
Wow.
Sometimes he would break into his victims' homes beforehand to unlock windows, unload guns, and plant the gear he was later going to use for the crime. He would also call his future victims many times leading up to the crime and threaten them, similar to the call you heard earlier. This was all a part of his act, with these calls serving as a way for him to mentally torment his victims ahead of time. When he eventually broke into their home for the last time, he would often tie them up and make himself at home, even cooking in their kitchen.
Bro, that's just weird.
But simply, he was extremely confident in his planning, and unfortunately, it worked. By the end of 1986, he had broken into different homes over 120 times, and in more than 64 victims, 3 of which were children. However, despite the authorities having tons of evidence against him, like fingerprints, footprints, masks, multiple rings, and many different sketches from witnesses, nothing led to a name. He would even call and taunt the police and families of his victims, daring them to catch him. But despite all this, the case remained cold for over 40 years.
What?
That is until the late 2010s, when a new kind of detective work changed everything.
Okay,
Investigators already had plenty of DNA evidence from the killer. However, his DNA didn't match the limited samples they had in their database. But in 2016, a very distant relative of the Golden State Killer took a DNA ancestry test through one of the companies like 23andMe. The DNA data from this company was aggregated by a company called GED Match. And the FBI then used this extensive database to see if any of the samples matched with
that nigga look like Luka Doncic, bro. What the fuck? This nigga look like Luka, bro. What the hell? Nigga's not the killer.
DNA evidence they had. While they didn't find the killer, they did find a match with one of his very distant relatives. This allowed them to go through the whole family tree with over 1,000 members and eventually find the person they were looking for. After 40 long years, the identity of the man behind this creepy call was finally made public. On April 24, 2018, authorities arrested then 73-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer. He was a Vietnam War veteran and an ex-police officer from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. Investigation of his past also revealed a chilling instance from July 1979 when he was arrested for shoplifting a hammer and dog repellent. In hindsight, it's obvious that he was going to use both of these items for one of his crimes. And the reason he tried to steal...
What also be weird is that it'd be these people who either was in the army, the military, or they worked for the government some way, or... You know, they were just simple cop officers. Like, it'd be them too, like, that do this weird type of ish, bro. Like, not saying they're the only ones, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it really be them, bro. Like,
steal them instead of paying was because he didn't want the sale tied back to his name in any way. In July of 2020, Joseph pled guilty to 13 counts of murder and 13 counts of kidnapping and a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty. He was given 13 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole and is now serving his time at a California state prison.
Yeah, like, dang, your life is over.
He made to his soon-to-be victims have gone down as some of the most disturbing pieces of audio ever recorded.
And just to think, like, I wonder when he, like, stopped doing his killings and stuff anyways. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, clearly my nigga is a whole... He's probably a great-grandfather now at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like... I wonder when he stopped, because bro been roaming free for all that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
On the 1st of December 2017, Reddit user Drudagon17 made a Reddit post hoping to find an explanation for the terrifying screams he heard while on vacation. What's causing these screams? So, I'm not really sure what this is. I've had a lot of people tell me different...
Let me make sure everything else. Alright, y'all, we back.
Things, but no one really knows for sure. Maybe someone here could help me shed some light. Alongside this, he linked to a recording of what sounded like a person screaming at the top of their lungs.
Nigga, that's definitely somebody screaming at the top of their lungs. Bro, hope they all good.
The OP then went into...
You either getting your ass beat real bad by your mom or your dad, or somebody is definitely on their way to meeting God. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just being real, bro. I'm just being honest, man. I'm being honest.
The detail describing the circumstances surrounding these disturbing noises, reading... Earlier in the year, I went on a long road trip across the states, mainly visiting the national parks and a few cities along the way. Towards the end of the trip, we found ourselves staying in the small town of West Yellowstone. This appeared to be an ideal base whilst we explored Yellowstone National Park. We booked into a pretty creepy but cheap motel just off the main street for a couple of nights. Me and my fiance had one room, my parents another. On the first morning there, we planned to get up early, catch the sunrise, and hopefully spot some of the local wildlife. So our alarms were set for 5 a.m. At about 4:45 a.m., I was woken by loud banging on the door, followed by crying and shouting. I instantly jumped out of my bed thinking the worst had happened. I opened the door to my mom in a state of panic, saying, "There's someone screaming, a woman screaming."
Right.
There, clear as day, I could hear a woman screaming. It sounded as though it was within 100 feet of us. Mom claimed it had been happening for the last 30 minutes. We
and
wanted
no
to
cop
call
on the
police,
way?
but had no phone signal, no phones in the rooms, and we were the only people about.
Bruh.
This on its own is terrifying.
Where my shit at, bruh? Like, what you mean, bruh? Like, y'all, so were y'all the only ones around? Because I know there was somebody else in that motel, bruh. Come on now, somebody else. Even if there's nobody else in the motel, bruh, there's somebody around who can hear that scream, gang. That scream is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
What made this encounter even more unnerving was what happened next, with the OP and his family having a very bizarre interaction with local law enforcement, stating, "Then, after I'd been hearing the scream for about half an hour, so roughly an hour since it started, a police officer seemed to appear out of nowhere. He started to ask questions about what we were doing and why we were up. We thought he'd come about the scream, so we quickly told him everything. He then heard the scream and sped off towards town. The screaming got less frequent and eventually stopped, so we decided to go about our day. We saw all the lovely sights of Yellowstone and even showed several park rangers the video to see if it's an animal. They all said they've not heard anything like it before.
That's definitely not an animal.
So when we got back into town that evening, we stopped into the sheriff's office to try and get some information. This was met with a lot of hostility from both the lady at reception, who eventually closed the shutter in our face, and the same officer we had seen that morning. They both said exactly the same thing. It almost sounded like a script. "Sorry, ma'am, but that was an intoxicated woman yelling for her boyfriend." I don't.
So y'all just don't give a fuck.
They can put
That's
that
what
down
it
to
is.
someone shouting at their boyfriend. I get people get really wasted, but not to the point where you just scream and never say any words.
That's not true. I feel like that is not true. Now, definitely could have been a boyfriend who she was screaming at, and then he quickly started beating her ass, which I do not, accept women beating. I do not accept that shit at all. I've never put my hands on a female at all in that way, bro. Like, that shit is not acceptable over here. You know what I mean? But it definitely could have been an intoxicated woman for sure.
So, what was the source of the disturbing screaming Dredagon heard that night? The most prevalent theory I've come across is that these noises were coming from an animal.
No!
Specifically a mountain lion.
No way.
This makes a lot of sense since mountain lions are native to the Yellowstone wilderness. More importantly...
Yeah, a mountain lion eating her ass? Cause like, what? Bro, that was not no lion screaming like that, bro. I ain't trying to hear it, bro. That was a human, and that was a female.
Screams are eerily similar to what the OP heard during his stay in that area.
No way. If he plays the audio again, I ain't going back for it, but if he plays it again, I'll be able to tell.
That said, it's still
could
possible that the police officers were telling the truth, and that these screams were coming from an intoxicated woman. The pitch of the second scream in the OP's recording in particular is a lot more human-like than something coming from an animal.
Alright. That's definitely a human, gang. That is definitely a human, bro. You can hear the, like, when it goes high and goes, ah, and it goes, like, the gasp to get another, like, scream out, bro. You can hear all that shit, bro. I ain't falling for it, bro.
One
Ain't no
person
mountain
on
lion. You ain't
YouTube
fooling me,
even
nigga.
tried to explain this uncanny difference, stating that the first round of screaming sounds like it's coming from a mountain lion, and the second time sounds like a person screaming back at the animal. Maybe they were just annoyed and were trying to scare away the animal or get it to shut up.
Boy, I ain't screaming at no
While
animal.
this could have been the case, most of the screaming noises OP heard were likely coming from a mountain lion, since, according to his post, he didn't hear any cries for help or other words in these noises.
It was probably
Even
over
if it were
with.
coming from a highly intoxicated woman, it's safe to assume that she would say something aside from just yelling at the top of her lungs. But if that's true, why did two different police officers tell the same lie? Some people speculated that they did so just to avoid scaring off tourists, or that they were just pulling a prank. But from what I've seen, Dredagon was most likely lying about this part of his story. It's entirely possible that after learning about the surprisingly normal origin of these creepy noises, the OP used this encounter to craft a disturbing story they could post on Reddit. Especially since at one point during his original post, he mentions showing the recording to multiple park rangers. Now, even if these rangers weren't 100% positive, they
I didn't even know mountain lions be that loud.
with the similar animal noise that's common in that region. Dronigan also mentioned looking it up on YouTube and not finding any videos that could explain the disturbing screams. Even though when searching "screaming in Yellowstone" on YouTube, one of the first results is a 9-year-old video showcasing a mountain lion scream. That being said,
one kind of sounds
been
like
over
it.
7 years since the original post, and Dronigan hasn't posted any updates since.
Damn.
So whether this was a mountain lion or something else more disturbing, we'll likely never know the truth with 100% certainty.
Bro, where do mountain lions be located at? Like, cause let me know. I would not be moving there. No cap.
In February 2016, the residents of Forest Grove, Oregon began hearing a strange, high-pitched noise in the area.
The fuck? Fuck is that? The hell going on?
This eerie noise was limited to the city of Forest Grove and the wilderness surrounding it. It could only be heard for a few minutes at a time. It would begin blaring randomly throughout the day, and
what type of animal sounds like that?
Before going away for a few hours. One of the most disturbing aspects of this noise was how quickly it spread to the entire city. Its tone was deeply uncomfortable, resulting in a lot of people calling the police in distress.
It's happened twice tonight. It's happened about 5 times during the last 7 days, and the neighbor beside me, we can't even hear each other in the backyard. Neither one of us can figure out what's happening.
Throughout that February, emergency services received over 200 calls from concerned citizens, some even reporting physical symptoms from hearing the noise. But one question was on everyone's mind: where was this screeching noise coming from? One of the first theories that came up was that the noise was coming from a gas leak, something that could possibly be that loud.
That bit definitely don't sound as loud.
The gas company quickly shut down this idea, stating that if there was a gas leak, they would have become aware of it already. Also, a gas leak sounds more like a jet taking off rather than a screeching
Facts. That was. Yeah.
On top of that, they pointed out that if there was a gas leak big enough to cause this much noise, the smell of the leaking gas would spread throughout the city as well. Another theory that came up was that this was the result of trapped air and sewer lines escaping through a manhole.
Nah.
However, a major flaw in this theory was that if it were true, why did the noise only begin in February of 2016? The fire marshal, on the other hand, suggested the idea that it might be coming from someone's faulty air conditioning system. This is because many systems emit a very high frequency sound, similar to what the residents of Forest Grove were hearing. The truth is, this noise could have been coming from any number of sources, including construction equipment or a broken emergency siren. Unfortunately, the sound appeared to be coming from all directions, making it pretty much impossible to find its origin and verify any of these theories. While everyone was desperately trying to figure things out, the daily noise was becoming more and more unsettling with each passing day. But the eerie noise then suddenly disappeared just as quickly as it had begun. Over 9 years later, and this strange noise is still an unsolved mystery.
Wow.
That said, I believe the most likely theory is also the most boring one, that this whole thing was a prank or hoax by someone with a horn of some kind. You see, after getting overwhelmed by the number of calls from Forest Grove residents, the local police station began investigating the phenomenon more seriously. Amid their search, they put out a statement warning any potential pranksters, reading, "While some might find it comical, interesting, and mysterious, it's unlawful if it's being done on purpose. If this is the case, the individual caught will face possible repercussions." A couple days after the statement came out, the noise vanished and hasn't returned since. It's almost as if whoever was behind this realized that the prank was not worth the trouble and stopped. Of course, all this is just a theory on its own. But unless someone comes forward with a confession, I doubt we'll ever learn the truth about the origin of this disturbing noise.
Right.
On March 2nd, 2013, an anonymous user made an entry on 4chan talking about a creepy radio hijacking they experienced as a kid. The post read, "A creepy, I think, audio file which I've always been curious about. Back in 1994/1995, when I recorded this off of the radio, I told myself I'd never make a copy of the tape, having freaked myself out. But it's been sitting in the back of a desk drawer and in the back of my mind for 16 years now, and now I'm just curious. The weird stuff starts about 16 seconds in. Around 1995, I was about 15. I used to stay up late in my room listening to the radio on a boombox with an integrated tape recorder.
Damn,
I'd dial through the stations,
and
when I heard something interesting, I'd hit record for a while and then move on. One night, I came across this. I don't think this was the beginning of the broadcast, but I caught a lot of it. Right at the end, an announcer says that the station I was tuned to was WKCR 89.9 New York. There are a bunch of names and dates in there, but I've never run into anything else like this. Alongside this was a link to an audio file that starts off quite normal with a section from a 1993 song by Billy Cobham. It then abruptly transitions into a violin section from a song called Golden Sonata by Henry Purcell. The audio then morphs into a bone-chilling, high-pitched scream of sorts.
They been about to be loud as hell.
This alone is extremely creepy, but the audio doesn't stop there. Soon after this high-pitched scream, it morphs into the sound of a woman taking deep breaths. This breathing pattern...
I mean, this was the 90s and shit, so I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, just dismiss the fact that this could be some type of misunderstanding. Something just was fucking up with the radio system or whatever. Like, it is the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't dismiss that, you know what I'm saying? Because it didn't sound too crazy to me. Like, the little screams, it didn't even sound like screams. It just sounded like some shit was getting fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with the system. If I'm being honest. Now, this... It sounded like it too. Like, am I tripping? Am I the only one who feels like that could just probably be a system problem? You know what I mean? Or radio, whatever the hell this person's on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't really sound like nothing weird is going on.
Repeats a few
times. I can understand
it's
creepy though.
Leading into the sound of a woman reading seemingly random names and dates in an almost whisper.
The fuck is she talking about? Bitch, you better not be casting no type of spell on me right now. I'm listening to this with two hair... see? Don't tell me it's working. I'm listening to this with two headphones in my ear, bro. I'm locked in. You better not be saying nothing that's casting no spell, gang. I ain't playing.
This voice keeps repeating the same 9 names and dates over and over again.
What names?
A little investigation shows that the names and dates are taken from their obituaries.
No.
The 2 most notable names among these belong to Frank Oppenheimer, the brother of the creator of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and Barry Joseph Valentino Jr., one of the victims of the Pan Am Flight 103 bombing in 1988.
What?
However, from what I've seen, there's no correlation between any of the names besides the fact that they're all dead.
Who the hell took this video?
After repeating these names for a few minutes, the broadcast goes back to normal with a seemingly routine call sign announcement.
You're tuned to WKCR FM New York, 89.9 on your dial. Colombian music is running a little late. It will be starting in a few minutes.
Now, when the anonymous user originally posted this on 4chan, it received mixed reactions. Some people were deeply creeped out by it, while others were skeptical and believed the OP made this whole thing up. So, what's the truth? Well, there's evidence supporting both sides of the argument. The thing is, after receiving a few requests, the OP posted the full audio clip on YouTube with a channel named Ravenmouth. Searching it on Google shows that the OP has a Reddit account by the same name. With this, we can see that a couple of weeks after his 4chan post, Ravenmouth posted the same radio hijacking story on the No Sleep subreddit, which is mainly about believable but not always true disturbing stories. Near the end of this post, Ravenmouth also added a new section that wasn't present in his 4chan post, reading, "Unfortunately, and for this I sincerely apologize, it never ever stops. I told you this was just something I'd found, and I swear to you that that's true. It really did happen that way. It's more than that though. I don't really know how long it takes. A few weeks or months from now when you're alone and suddenly you hear the keening, quavering sound rise up like it's crawling out of your spine and into your skull, you'll understand. When that night comes, if you listen closely to what comes after the horrible sound, you'll realize that the woman will be reading your name. New name. You'll play it for your friends, family, add their names. I hope, desperately, that if I can make the list long enough, add enough names, then they'll take mine off and leave me alone."
Bro, what are you talking? What? Bro, what in the, what's that movie called that just came out? What in the smile do you got going on, bro? You trying to, like, put it on, portray it on me, bro? Chill, bro. What you talking about, bro? What you mean? Bro.
Sorry. This
is
I'm
sorry, bro. I ain't taking your apology. You need to keep your shit.
Ravenmouth made it all up. However, he remains adamant that while he did embellish the story a bit for the Reddit post, he still did record the audio from the radio when he was a teenager. So, could the WKCR station have actually been hijacked by someone?
Probably.
It's entirely possible. Radio hijackings are not a new phenomenon, and were certainly a thing back when this would have happened. But WKCR is owned by a college, and ran almost entirely by college students. When asked about it, the WKCR team stated, "As far as we know, this did take place on WKCR airwaves. In terms of the claim that it was a hijacking, that is very unlikely.
Yeah.
WKCR is a weird place with weird programmers, probably just some late-night new music programmer having fun on the mic." Put simply, Ravenmouth was likely telling the truth, but what he thought was a creepy hijacking was just the artsy experiment of a college student.
I ain't gonna say artsy, somebody was trying to troll, bro. Somebody who thought some shit was funny was trying to troll.
This, of course, cannot be 100% confirmed.
That one was lower.
In 1999, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded an ominous sound coming from the ocean. This is what it sounds like at 16 times speed.
The fuck?
This sound, named Julia, lasted for a whole 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
Why is it given the name Julia?
Enough to be detected across the entire equatorial Pacific Ocean hydrophone network. Hydrophones, for those who don't know, are basically underwater microphones. They were originally installed to detect submarines during the Cold War and were later converted to be used for general ocean research.
Bro, I want to know who the fuck is going all the way down there in the ocean to put that shit down there and play it, though. Like, who was doing that, bro? You got to be getting paid a crazy different type of money, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they still do stuff like this, bro, who's going down there? Because it's not me, bro. You couldn't pay me, bro. I don't play with certain things like the ocean, forest. Like, I just don't play with that type of shit, bro. I'm not doing it, bro, personally.
This network became popular in 1997 when it captured multiple strange sounds coming from within the ocean, including the now iconic bloop.
I mean, let's be real. That's probably just a shark either farting, you know, jellyfish maybe taking a shit real quick. Something crazy, something weird like that, you know what I mean? Like, the thing is, with the ocean, we don't know what's... I understand when people try to discover what's in the ocean because, bro, that's their own world, bro. Let them have their own world, bro. They don't come on our world trying to fuck with shit, bro. We take them from their world and we end up, like, eating, you know what I'm saying? Not sharks per se, but, like, fish and shit. We end up cooking them motherfuckers and shit, like... You know what I'm saying? But, like, just leave them alone, bro. We don't need to know what they got going on down there, bro. We do not need to know, bro. Let them be. Real talk.
According to the official explanation,
it could be anything. That sound could be anything.
Recording was caused by ice quakes and large icebergs, or by icebergs scraping the ocean floor.
Yeah, or iceberg falling into the ocean.
However, unlike bloop, it doesn't have an explanation. Due to the high loudness of Julia, scientists weren't able to pinpoint its exact location. One potential solution that's been floating on the internet for a while now is that Julia originated from underwater volcanic activity. Sadly, this theory falls apart quickly upon inspection. This is mainly because there was also recorded audio coming from an underwater volcano called Upsweep, and it sounds nothing like Julia.
How the hell is there underwater volcanoes?
A somewhat...
Sounds like a normal winter day in December for me. I ain't gonna lie.
More interesting theory that tries to explain Julia is that the sound originates from an unknown sea creature. And while this does sound like science fiction at best, it feels a lot more feasible when you consider the fact that we're yet to explore over 80% of the ocean in detail.
Good!
However,
good! We don't need to.
For the very idea of an ocean creature big enough to produce a sound audible from thousands of kilometers away is terrifying, and honestly quite out there. The sound dubbed Julia is one of many underwater sounds recorded that have yet to be identified.
Yeah, let's keep it that way, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like I said, we don't need to fuck around with the ocean. Like, you heard what he just said, 80% of it? 80? 80. Man, I always think about the Titanic, like, and I be feeling bad for the people who sunk and shit. Like, that shit is just crazy. A lot of people sunk, a lot of people just froze while at the top, but, like, that shit is just crazy. Shout out to Chillin' Scares for the W video, I ain't gonna lie.